What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV back here for another match preview as the Carabao Cup is back around and we face Nottingham Forest in the third round, which is going to be an interesting matchup. I mean, we don't know as of yet the team news just yet, but we do know Richarlison is back, right?
Yeah, he's going to be back in the squad, which is really good news. So he'll be available for the Forest and Leeds games before the World Cup. Obviously, back off the news of him being called up for Brazil as well. A lot of people saw videos of him jumping around at the news that he was being called up. And like, well, if you're jumping around, Richarlison, you better get your boots on.
We saw him jumping around 2 weeks ago at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
Yeah. So and he listened because he looks like he's gonna be fit and ready to play. I don't know if he's ready to start, but it's good news, and we're getting our attacking options back. But shame it's only 2 games to go.
Yeah, it is a massive shame about that, but it's worth noting that if it is a draw at 90 minutes, it goes straight to penalties in this tie. And also, if we do get through, then we're going to have to come back extra early from the break as well, because the next round is scheduled for 4 days after the World Cup final, which is going to be
ludicrous.
Yeah, it really is ludicrous. But anyway, let's concentrate on this game. Spurs against Nottingham Forest. We've already played them this season, and it was actually a tough game, wasn't it?
Yeah, we were under the cosh for a lot of it. I think in the end we deserved the victory. We did end up 2-0 winners, but for a lot of the game, Forest had a lot of the ball and were putting us under pressure. And it was kind of, I wouldn't say backs against the wall, but, you know, we had to kind of soak up a lot of the pressure before hitting them on the counter-attack. It was a different kind of, it was very similar, to be fair, to recent performances. Poor first half, although we were 1-0 up instead of 1-0 down. But second half, we dominated and deserved the victory and got the second goal. Missed a penalty as well.
Yeah.
In that game. Harry Kane missing a penalty.
Yeah, missed 2 already this season, Kane, hasn't he?
Yeah, and mostly to, I think, English goalkeepers. I think he's missed them too.
Dean Henderson, and who was the other one?
Dean Henderson, and who do you miss the other penalty against? Can't remember now.
Anyway, when you're looking at the last 5 fixtures between Nottingham Forest and Spurs, I mean, there's not too much to go on because we've only played each other since 1999 5 times, but it is 5 victories, so well, 4 victories and a draw in there as well. But how do you assess actually Nottingham Forest since we've played them, because they were terrible since we last played them, have got a few positive results since then, haven't they?
Yeah, they've obviously beat Liverpool at home 1-0 in what was a really great win for them. But that's still their only victory really in I think their last 5 games. I think yeah, that's that they haven't really been able to capitalise on that victory, and you thought maybe it'll give them a bit of a bounce. But they did go. They've lost 2 of their last 5, which is, I guess, good form for them this season. They're still rock bottom of the Premier League, 10 points after 14 games. Results and performances have been slightly better of late, because they did go on a long losing run, and they're still taking a lot of time to gel together. That's very clear. What's also very clear, there is quality there.
Are you seeing the signs of them potentially gelling as a team and potentially being able to save themselves this season?
I mean, they're starting to a bit, but at the pace that they're gelling, I don't know if it's quick enough. What's
the point system? How far are they from safety at the moment from that point?
Well, they're only 3 points away from Bournemouth, who are in 17th.
Well, having said that, then I mean, to take so long and not even gel yet and only be 3 points from safety, surely they're in for a shout then.
Look, it's a very wide it's a very wide open relegation race at the moment. There's 5 points, 6 points between 18th and 11th right now. So, like, you could argue anyone is up for that relegation at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But when we're talking about Nottingham Forest, a lot of people are saying, you know, there's certainties for the drop and they're sleepwalking to relegation. People were saying maybe
I wouldn't say they're sleepwalking. I would say they're nosediving.
Nosediving, but it's only 3 points from safety.
Yeah, but it's only 14 games.
It's true.
I would assume that gap probably gets bigger before it gets smaller. You know what I mean? But look, if they start to gel quicker, then they do have a chance, because they do have good players. They for all the signings they've been clowned on, they do have good quality there, and they have signed a lot of good players. They haven't chosen to sign a bunch of rubbish, in my opinion. I think they've signed some good players, but there's a lot of players that need to gel together. There still also is a lot of weaknesses in the squad that they haven't really dealt with in the summer. There was a lot of upheaval, and I don't know. Sometimes it's it can be too much that you've done in terms of business in the summer. They sound 20 players, like it was
Unheard of,
ridiculous. Yeah, unprecedented. I never thought that kind of thing would work, but they are only 3 points. So obviously that's one win, and they could theoretically climb out the relegation zone. But whether they will have, they can go on a run or have consistency to really drag themselves clear, I still doubt that. If you compare them to a lot of the other teams in the relegation battle.
When you're bringing up the form of the two teams coming into it, conceded the same amount of goals, Spurs and Nottingham Forest, in the last 5 games, which is fairly shocking from a Spurs point of view. That's 8 goals conceded in the last 5 games. Their home form, still not great. I mean, 1 win in their last 5 at home. That was
in
against
3,
Liverpool. It's true, it is unbeaten in 3. But if it does go that way and it becomes a draw, it does go straight to penalties. You fancy our chances on penalties tomorrow night?
Well, I think Henderson's actually quite good from
He
the
is
spot,
good,
so I would be a bit worried, but I think we have better penalty takers, so I would back us. But then it depends what kind of team we're putting out. It's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting to see with Conte, rest players, or do he go to full strength?
Yeah, I mean, I can't tell you, what he's going to do tomorrow, Conte. I mean, the options are kind of not there for him. I mean, if he is going to change things, you're talking about a massive drop in quality, aren't you?
Yes, but I think he can do a few things. Like, I think Basuma should get another start. I think Skip you can bring in. I think Spence should surely get a run out tomorrow. Maybe you can probably put one of the centre-backs in, like Sanchez or something.
I've heard a rumour that Spurs don't want to play Spence tomorrow because if they do play him tomorrow and they want to loan him out in January, then he could potentially be cup-tied for this competition.
Right. So, yeah, maybe that's true. That would be a frustrating reason because it means he doesn't get a chance at all. But I guess you'd have to loan him out. I guess either to a team who's been knocked out, or if that would be against him if a team were to take him on loan. I mean, I don't think that's a great reason, to be honest, not to play a player like you've signed. I would
love to see him.
I'm saying that just seems like a very weak reason. Oh, because we might loan him out to a team in the Carabao Cup and he'll be cup tied. That's a weak reason.
I know it is a weak reason, but that's just what I've heard. I mean, who knows if it's true or not. But when you're looking at this, this is the lineup that Nottingham Forest did play in their last game. If you bring that through, so Henderson in goal, a back two of McKenna and Cook, Aurier at right back, Williams at left back, Yates, Freuler and Kayate in the middle with Gibbs-White, Johnson and Emmanuel Dennis up top. We'll get into our ones to watch in a second, but in terms of the players that maybe aren't in our ones to watch, who have you been impressed with this season?
Impressed with?
I'll tell you what I've been impressed with. I think that Nico Williams has had a pretty strong start to the season.
He's okay. He was all right a bit at the start, but I don't know. I feel like recently he's not even been in the lineup a lot of the time. Like Aurier displaced him right back. He's had to go to on the left. I think he gets booked every single game. He's all right going forward, but I still think defensively he's very much a bit of a liability in my opinion. Brennan Johnson hasn't really hit the ground running maybe this season. He's been I would say a bit hit and miss, but more miss than hit, unfortunately. He's had a few decent games, but hasn't really translated his championship form into the Premier League. Emmanuel Dennis hasn't been great. I guess Henderson, he was really great against Liverpool. He was probably man of the match. What a performance he put in against Liverpool. He pretty much won them the game.
Would you take him as Laurie's successor?
I'd consider it. I think there are better options out there, but I would consider it. I think he's a good goalkeeper, Henderson. I think he's done well for us, but he's always, I don't know, but when he did get his chances at Man United, he wasn't great. So I'm not sure what that means, what that says about him.
Did he ever get like consistent chances though?
Maybe he never got a real good run of games, but I remember when he did come in here and there, he did look a bit shaky, and he made a few mistakes. So I'm not sure. Maybe if he did get a run of games, it would be a different story. I think he's good, but I'm not convinced he should be our number one.
So we've spoken a lot about like Meslier in the past. Do you think he's a better keeper than Henderson?
I think Meslier right now, I think he's a bit younger than Henderson. I think at the moment, maybe like 2 or 3 years younger. I think right now Henderson might be ahead of him, but I think Meslier has more potential than Henderson.
So Dean Henderson is 25 and Meslier is 22.
Yeah.
So a good 3-year gap
Yeah.
there. So yeah, you definitely have a point there. I think that, I guess if you're signing a keeper for the here and now, it would be Henderson, but maybe Meslier does have that higher ceiling. But in terms of the ones to watch, we've picked out Gibbs-White and Serge Aurier, a very familiar face to the Spurs fan base. Does he get in our team right now?
definitely make a good case. Definitely make a good case. Honestly, a wing back as well, where you'd have a bit more protection. I actually think he's better than Emerson. Well, Emerson's probably a bit better defensively, but going forward, Aurier definitely better than Emerson for sure. He has a much better delivery. You feel a bit more confident giving the ball out wide to Aurier than you do to Emerson. And he's actually had a pretty good start to life at Forest in his starts.
And this is 2 players, including Kieran Trippier and Serge Aurier, that we chased out of this club.
Yeah, and now look where we're left. That just goes to show you never know what you got till it's gone, and that's the reality at the moment.
And this is a right back starting for Nottingham Forest, who everyone's favourites for the drop.
Yeah,
and that shows you the state of affairs that we've got at right back at the moment.
Yeah, it's shocking. I mean, would I want him over Doherty?
I think I would. I think I would. I think Aurier is better than Doherty, and I think he's better than Emerson.
I don't know if he's better than Doherty. I think Doherty at his best is better than Aurier. But then again, Aurier at his best was in the big games was pretty good. That was the thing. But he's been pretty good for Forest in against Liverpool. He was great in their last game against Brentford. He played really well. They seem to have taken a liking to him, Aurier. A lot of the Forest fans.
The thing is with Aurier, right? He got talked about a lot in terms of the way he gets booked and gives away penalties and time again just doing that kind of stuff against a team where it works against us. But I felt like, especially under Jose Mourinho and after that, he kind of cut that out of his game as much as he was doing it before. And he was always good going forward. So, I mean, when we sold Aurier, I mean, I accepted it. And
we didn't sell him, we cancelled his contract.
If we cancelled his contract, I mean, that was definitely way too much.
I didn't agree with that at the time. I was like, I know maybe we should sell him, but like to cancel his contract, it's like, you might as well just keep him then.
Yeah, and like, you're cancelling his contract to spend a lot of money on someone that's not better than him, which is just crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. And if you're going to cancel someone's contract, I didn't think it should have been Aurier. It should have been someone like Harry Winks or someone like that if you're going to cancel someone's contract. But I think Aurier was a good servant to this club, and I know a lot of fans like to clown on him, but we're literally in a worse off situation right now.
I agree. Well, look, at the end of the day, we did need upgrading on him. That's true. But I also agree that we've made a pig's ear of that, and we've made our right back situation worse, and even worse from the likes of Serge Aurier, which is crazy to think about. When, as you say, we cancelled this guy's contract not so long ago, and he would probably get into our team right now. So that's a bit ridiculous.
Yeah, and don't make any false claims. 'Cause I don't think that he's the answer to our right back problems, and he should still be here, and he's the future of this club, and all this kind of stuff. I just think he's better than what we have now, and that just sets a very low bar. But it is what it is with Serge Aurier, and it'll be good to see him in front of our eyes at the stadium tomorrow, and hopefully he'll give us a penalty or something. But
yeah, that'd be nice.
In terms of Morgan Gibbs-White, he's been really impressive since he's moved to Forest. What have you made out of him?
Yeah, I mean, I think recently he's turned up quite a bit. I think he had a bit of a tough start to life at Nottingham Forest, but recently he's been scoring a few goals. He got his first goal of the season against Brentford last week with a really nice finish from 25 yards, and he's starting to impact games a lot more. Sorry about that.
Bless you.
He's starting to, he's definitely starting to impact games a lot more. He's playing a lot more further forward. Now before he was playing in like bit of a deeper midfield position before. Now he's playing in one of the forward positions. He's obviously got strength. He's got good dribbling ability. He's got good ball retention. He just needs to add a bit more efficiency in the final third. He could be a serious player. You got to remember they spent nearly upwards of 40 million on him in the summer. There's a reason for that. They didn't spend that because of what he's showing. They spent it because of his potential, and he does have really good potential. But he just needs to add consistency and a bit more efficiency, and he can be a real good player.
How do you expect Spurs to approach this game? And how are we going to get this result tomorrow night?
I do think we're going to rest some players. I think we know that Leeds obviously need to win after 2 back-to-back home defeats. We have to get the win next game.
Leeds are looking very good and energetic at the moment.
Yeah,
aren't they?
they've beaten Liverpool at Anfield, and they've beating Bournemouth, so we have to be on top of our game for that one. So I do expect a few players rested. I think Forster's probably going to come in. I think Sanchez will probably come in. I think Skip will probably come in. The problem, one of Lucas or Gil will probably start. I'm probably thinking Lucas. So I think we'll make a few changes, but I don't think. But there's limited changes we can make because we have injuries and it's a bit limited with options we can do.
Doherty will probably start on the right, on the left.
Probably Cess, I would say.
Probably stick with Cess, although he's been really poor last couple of games.
That's why he'll play in this game and not Sunday.
Yeah. In terms of, not much change. Do you think Sanchez is going to come in?
Yeah, I think Sanchez will come in. I think there'll be some changes. I do. I don't think he's going to go full strength. But up front,
could
like
be even
Kane,
Fraser Forster's debut.
That's what I'm saying. Fraser Forster will come in. I said.
Mm.
Will Kane play on up front? We don't have any much options unless you're going to start Richarlison.
I think Kane will play,
which is a shame.
I think our front three. I think it'll be a 3-4-3 tomorrow. I'm expecting anyway, and I think it'll be a front three of Kane. Maybe Hill might even get a go, but I think it'll probably be Kane, Richarlison, and Lucas.
You reckon Richarlison starts?
I think so. One of Richarlison or Kulu. I think one of the two.
Yeah, probably something like that. That's what I would expect. And it will be interesting to see if what Forest do, if they make changes or do they go full strength and try and win the game. Because they're obviously in a relegation battle, do they see the cup as a distraction or do they see it as an opportunity to build some confidence if they get a win? They have a big squad. They signed 20 players, so maybe they probably will make a few changes, but it will be interesting to see how seriously they take this game as well.
Yeah, I think they will make changes because I think survival in this league has got to be their number one priority, and with a big game on the weekend, I'm not sure who they're playing, but any game for them is a big game right now, and especially as if they do beat us, they've got a game 4 days after the World Cup, and then a few days later that they got another Premier League game. So I think they got to put the Premier League priority as number one, and I do think they will rest some players, but who knows what sort of a drop-off in quality it will be, because we don't know what kind of players that they've got in terms of waiting in the wings and if it'll be better than what they've got. Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. What score prediction are you going for?
I think we'll go through. I think I can see it being an open game. I can see it... but I think both teams probably don't want it to go to penalties. I can see it definitely ending in 90 minutes. I think it'll be 3-1 to Tottenham.
Yeah, I think both teams not wanting it to go to penalties means it probably will go to penalties.
Yeah, true.
So I'm going to go for Spurs to win on penalties tomorrow. 1-1.
All right.
It's going to be an interesting matchup. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of changes Antonio does make for the game. And it's also interesting to note that Stellini is the one doing the press conference today. So we'll bring that to you as and when that does get to us. So it is due to start at 2 o'clock. But my brother is going 3-1 to Spurs. I'm going for 1-1 and Spurs to win on penalties. We'll be in the stadium tomorrow as well, so check out the match day vlog tomorrow evening. And also you're going to have Rez and Barry in the studio with you for the watch along tomorrow, so tune in for that. I'm sure they'll be up for it, as we all will be, but we'll see you all very soon. Predicted lineup on the way as well. Like, subscribe and comment, and as always, come on you Spurs.